MarkTools Video Guide. Alerts. MarkTools provides a very powerful and flexible alert system. The system allows you to create complete trading setups which are based on many timeframes and different variations of your SMPA formations and other trading tools. In order to create your setup, go to Alerts Editor. Alerts Editor contains the following sections. The main toolbar. It is used to create root elements of your SMPA setups. Diagram pane. It is where you can see all your trees of setups. Property grid. That allows you to change the settings of your nodes and to change the general settings of the alert system. And finally, you have a tab section. Tabs allow you to split your trading setups into different zones, so that they are not in the same place creating mess for your eyes. When we talk about setup, we assume that we deal with different formations on different timeframes. More than that, considering formations have to happen in appropriate subsequence. In order to clearly build subsequence, we use hierarchical nodes in diagrams with directional links. When the system scans for your trading setup, it takes every root node and checks its formation to satisfy conditions set in the node. If the condition is satisfied, it goes to the next nodes that are outgoing from the current node and performs the same process as for it. Let's get down to the node's description. As far as root nodes go, you have 4 types of nodes. Poi node. With it you create a starting node that can be a mitigation block, breaker block, or order block. FVG node. Using this node, you say to the system that it must start looking for your setup in an imbalance area. Sweep node. You want to use this node in case you would like to start looking for your setup right after grabbing liquidity takes place. Group node. Sometimes you would need to group different formations so that you can refer to them in different trading setups. All the nodes have the same behavior in terms of interaction with them. A node can be selected or deselect. There are general settings in the property grid if node is deselect. We will describe those settings at the end of the video. In order to select, simply click on the needed node, and to deselect it, click on the empty space of the diagram. If node is selected, then you can change the adjustments for your node in the property grid. There are some common settings for mostly all nodes. Once node is selected, in the property grid you can find 3 fields. The checkbox on. It activates or deactivates the current node and all its children nodes in the scanning process. The checkbox pre-fire. The system invokes alert notification when the last node in the chain passes the condition. Sometimes you want to be notified earlier when the last node condition pass takes place in order to get your charts and be prepared for entering the position. Use this checkbox to specify what earlier node to notify with. The name input field with prefix of node type. Optionally, you can set the name of the node displayed in the diagram and Telegram bot. The name is limited to 10 characters. Let's get back to the diagram actions. To perform node moving, use drag and drop to locate the node to any desired spot of the diagram. In order to connect nodes, select the parent node. Press and hold Alt key for Windows or Option key for Mac, and use drag and drop to the child node you need to connect to. In case you need to remove connections between nodes, choose the connection by left-clicking and press X in the shown connection menu. There's a menu node once node is selected. Using this menu you can add children nodes. There are some of them identical to the nodes in the main toolbar. And you have 2 additional menu items. X menu item. Removes node and its children from the diagram and from the system correspondingly. Reference menu item. Use it when you need to create reference to an already existing tree. Reference mechanism is very powerful that lets you avoid duplicating your already predefined nodes. Let's say I have already defined the setup M5 M1 that I want to see after M15 and H1 BOS. I add M15 and H1 POI nodes to the diagram. For each of them I add reference. I choose my M5M1 node in the reference settings. The drop-down shows all available nodes in the system in format, tab name, name of the node. M5M1 on flag will be disregarded, and instead of it the reference node on flag will be used. In such a way you can create predefined nodes and not use them as root nodes in the scanning process. Let's make an even more real-life case. I've two scenarios after M15 and H1 BOS, and they are M5M1 and M3M1. I add a group of nodes and connect them to your M5M1 and M3M1. After that, instead of duplicating reference nodes, I create the grouped version of those LTF setups. This approach becomes very powerful when you create a lot of cases. And the field name will be your helper that gives you a very readable name so that you clearly understand the usage context of the choosing nodes. Now let me show you what system is doing when it scans the setups you created. Let's say one of my setups assumes the following variation. I've a pullback to the 4H POI that tests imbalance in the premium zone. Once my 4H conditions are satisfied, I go to 1H timeframe. I'm waiting for 1H to change the direction of the 4H pullback by breaking the structure. Also, this scenario assumes that 1H POI gets formed from grabbing Asia range high. After getting 1H satisfied conditions, I'm waiting for the pullback in the 1H premium zone. Once I have the pullback, I jump into the 5M timeframe to find the M5M1 setup. M5M1 is a QM pattern that has M5 sweep and M1 break of structure. When M1 BOS occurs, it will be a trigger to enter my position. So now let's create a setup in the alerts editor to be notified with the case like above. According to our scenario, first we add 4H POI. For the field TF we are setting our POI timeframe. For the field zone I have to choose PD value. PD value says that all children have to happen in the premium zone for short POI and in the discount zone for long POI. As far as other values go, the value test means the children have to happen after testing the BOS line. The value any says the price action has to reach either premium/discount zone or test the BOS line. And the value none says it's not important where the current price action is building children formations. For the field type I'm choosing primary, because I'd like to have the most recent break of structure. I'm skipping grab field. With this field I can specify that POI must be formed either after grabbing the liquidity or testing FVG. The value RAID says the POI is formed from RAID. So usually you set it if you would like to see your POI as a breaker. The value sweep says the POI must sweep some liquidity by wick. The value FVG says the POI must test FVG. Other values are self-explanatory. For example, previous day H/L means the POI must grab the previous day high or low. The grab field is a multiple selection field. The condition applied with the or clause. It means either of those values appeared in the chart will satisfy the condition. For example, if you would like to work from any session manipulation, you add all sessions to the list of grabs. Let's go on with our scenario. I'm expecting to have an impulsive break of structure. Thus I want to see FVG in my POI. I'm adding the FVG node as a child and I'm setting the 4H timeframe for it. Here I have a fill field. I can set how deep my FVG must be tested. I'm not interested in that, so I'm skipping it. Now we implemented our first 4H condition. Let's move to the 1H timeframe. Let's add another POI node as a child for the already created FVG node. I'm setting the 1H timeframe according to my scenario and choosing the PD zone. My scenario assumes grabbing Asia range. So I'm adding Asia H/L to the grab field. I'm adding one more FVG for the 1H timeframe. So now I'm done with the 1H timeframe as well. The last piece of my scenario is to add M5M1. In order to do that, we are adding the sweep node and setting the 5M timeframe for it. Let's name it as M5M1. We skip the "can be RAID" checkbox because we are considering only sweeps. All raids must be skipped. The field CONF says what TFs must have BOS after sweep. In our case it's 1M. For example, if I want to have sweep and BOS on the 3M timeframe, then I have to choose 3M. If I want to consider any BOS from a variety of timeframes, then I simply add any desired TFs to the list. The field grab is similar to the POIG grab field and says what liquidity the sweep must grab in case our scenario is demanding that. The field inside has refining zones for sweeps we define. For example, I created M5M1 and I'm considering sweeps only in FVG zones. So I can add FVG to satisfy my conditions. If I need to have sweeps only in POI zones, then I add POI to achieve that. So eventually we have our scenario implemented, and we also have covered all fields and values for them for all our nodes. Now, to get notified when our setup appears, we have to authorize your Telegram account in our Telegram bot. To do that, click on Open Alerts Bot and open it in your Telegram. Then click Start. You will be asked to enter your MarkTools login and password. The system allows you to have only one of your accounts associated with the Telegram bot. The most recent account will overwrite the old one. Once you entered correct your MarkTools login and password, you will be able to choose what tickers to use with the alert system. By simply clicking on the desired ticker, you immediately turn your setup scanner on. When the alert system detects your setup, you will get notification that shows all your nodes trees involved into setups with their names and actual formation that satisfied your conditions. In the general settings, you can set a time range for alerts notification. In my case, I have trading hours from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. from Monday to Friday my time zone. So I'll be getting notification only within that period of time. The time zone is specified in the general settings described in previous video. Besides your trading setups, you can be notified when news appear. We have news similar to forexfactory.com. In order to get notified with news, activate the news field. News will be shown in compact mode by activating short desk, otherwise it will be more detailed in the notification. You can adjust what news importance you need to see. Use field type to change the list of available importances. You adjust what currencies you are interested in by changing field curs. And for those who trade sessions, we have notification for the session events. The sessions are divided by rows of the table. Activating checkbox next to the session name, you include notification for the session. Then you need to specify what session you would like to get notified with. You have 4 types of events for each sessions. Open and close session events. To activate those events, use columns O and C correspondingly. Kill zone open event. Starts 1 hour prior to session opening. Use column KZO to activate it. Kill zone close event. Starts 2 hours prior to session closure. Use column KZC to activate it. All news and session events are notified 10 minutes prior to the event time. Thanks for watching this video. In case you have any questions, you can always get in touch with our support team and we will be looking forward to helping you.